you woke up tomorrow with just 5,000 dirhams in your account, no job, no business, no savings, could you actually rebuild your life in Dubai? It's a confronting question because we all know Dubai isn't a cheap city to live in. Rent, transport, food. Everything costs something. But the truth is, even with just 5,000 dirhams, it's still possible to rebuild from scratch here if you play it right. Because Dubai, for all its glam and luxury, is also a city that rewards the hungry, the resourceful, and the ones willing to start small and stay consistent. Before we get into the step-by-step plan, let me be real with you. I've lived through this. From 2016 all the way till 2019, I was in almost the exact same position. I was a student living with my mom, which I'll always be grateful for, and trying to start my business from the ground up. I didn't have money, I didn't have investors, I didn't even know how to turn ideas into income. I had maybe a few hundred dirhams a month left after basic expenses, which most of the times my mom and brother helped with, but I had a drive that money couldn't buy. Those years were the most humbling, but also the most defining years of my life. I learned what it means to live within limits, to build slowly, and to grow without shortcuts. And if I had to start all over again today in 2025 with just 5,000 dirhams, I know exactly how I would do it. So here's how I'd rebuild my life step by step right here in Dubai. When you've only got 5,000 dirhams, survival comes before success. Forget about impressing anyone. Forget the image, the Dubai lifestyle, or fancy brunches. The first rule is make your money last long enough to create options. The biggest expense is your rent. I would immediately look for a bed space or shared accommodation, not a full room, not a studio. Of course, today's laws have changed, so you gotta make sure you stay within that. You can still find decent shared spots in areas like Qasais, Mohaisna, Karama, International City, you name it. Bed spaces in those neighborhoods usually range between 800 and 1,200 dirhams per month. Is it glamorous? No. But this isn't about comfort, it's about stability. When you're rebuilding, comfort is a luxury you earn later. Next is food. This is where a lot of people waste money without realizing it. I'd make a rule to cook at home. I'd buy groceries in bulk from Union Co-op, Viva, or Carrefour, and I'd plan my meals weekly. Cooking your own food in Dubai isn't just healthier, it's a massive financial advantage. If you eat out every single day, even simple meals, you'll burn through your 5,000 dirhams in no time. But if you cook, you can manage on about 400 to 500 dirhams a month comfortably. Transport is another place to be strategic. Forget about taxis, car rentals, or even carpool apps. For now, I'd completely rely on the metro and bus network or individual carpools, not the corporate style. If I really needed to move around for interviews or meetings, I'd walk where possible. It's healthier and costs nothing. Once these essentials are set, rent, food, and transport, I'd keep at least 2,000 dirhams aside as my safety net. That's my oxygen money. That's the cash that keeps me breathing if something unexpected comes up. Because when you're rebuilding, panic is your enemy. Having that small cushion helps you think clearly. The first month would be all about survival, not status. The goal isn't to live well, it's to live long enough to build a foundation. Now that the basics are covered, the next mission is to get cash flow as fast as possible. Forget the idea of finding your dream job in the first few weeks. You're not looking for passion right now. You're looking for oxygen. You need a job that pays enough to keep you stable while you plan your next move. If I were starting from zero again, I'd apply for every realistic entry-level job I could find. Admin, sales assistant, call center agent, delivery, customer service, barista, whatever gets me earning quickly. Dubai is full of opportunities if you're not picky at the start. The idea is to get your foot in the door somewhere that pays you monthly. Once you've got consistent income, everything else becomes easier. Obviously, I'd hit LinkedIn hard. every single day, update my CV, optimize it with keywords, and start messaging recruiters directly. I would also check Dubizzle and Indeed UAE, which have loads of walk-in interview listings. I'd wake up early and dedicate at least 2 to 3 hours every morning just applying and following up. And here's the part that most people overlook. I'd physically show up for walk-in interviews. You'd be amazed how many people skip that because they think everything happens online now. But in Dubai, showing up still makes a difference. Face-to-face effort shows initiative, and that's rare these days. Once I get a job, I treat it like my launch pad, not my destination. Even if it's basic, even if the pay is small, I'd focus on being the most reliable, proactive person there. I'd show up early, learn fast, and try to understand not just what I'm doing, but how the business actually runs. That mindset alone separates you from 90% of the workforce in that place. You might be thinking, but what if the job pays very little? That's completely fine. You're not there to retire. You're there to stabilize, to start building confidence, and to open up the next door. And in Dubai, once you have local experience, even a few months, it's a lot easier to move up within that company. Once I've got a steady job, I'd immediately start focusing on leveling up. Because if there's one thing Dubai rewards more than anything, it's growth. The mistake a lot of people make is staying comfortable once they get their first paycheck. They stop learning. But I take the opposite approach. I'd treat my job like my free education. I would observe what the company values, what kind of people get promoted, what tools they use, what problems they struggle with, and then I'd learn how to solve those problems for them. Let's say I was in customer service. I'd spend my free time learning how to manage customers better, how to use CRM software, how to write better emails, or even how to upsell products overall. If I was in sales, I'd study closing techniques, negotiation, and social media outreach. If I was an admin, I'd get better at Excel, presentation design, or data entry tools. The best part is you don't need expensive courses anymore. There are literally free platforms everywhere. I'd use YouTube, Coursera, and Google Skillshop to upskill for free. One course a month, one new skill at a time, that's how you quietly build leverage. And I've seen this happen in real life. People who joined a company as receptionists or assistants, and within a year, they're literally supervisors or team leads. Not because of luck, but because they kept learning when everyone else stopped and got comfortable. If you show that kind of initiative, you'll get noticed. Promotions in Dubai often come faster than people expect when you make your manager's life easier. You don't even have to ask for them. They come naturally to the people who make themselves indispensable. So if I were starting over, I'd make learning my full-time side hustle. That's what accelerates your income. Not wishful thinking, but skill stacking. Let's be real, 5,000 dirhams doesn't leave room for mistakes. One bad month, one impulse decision, and you're back to zero. That's why I take budgeting seriously, not as a punishment, but as a survival skill. I'd start by tracking every expense manually for at least the first few months. Write it down or use a free app like Wally or Spendy. You'll be shocked at how much money disappears on the little things: coffees, snacks, and delivery charges. The goal isn't to stop living, it's to stop leakage. Once I understand where the money is going, I would structure my spending into priorities. So essentials goes first: rent, food, and transport. Then savings, and then everything else. I'd give myself strict limits. For example, if I'm earning 4,000 dirhams or 5,000 dirhams, I'd aim to save 10 to 20% no matter what. Even if that means saving just 300 dirhams a month, the amount doesn't matter. The discipline does. Every dirham you save buys you freedom. Freedom from panic, freedom from debt, freedom from sleepless nights when your card balance hits zero before payday. Now I know some of you out there have different lives, and again, it's easier said than done. Some of you could be earning 4,000 to 5,000 dirhams and getting by for your day-to-day and still having to send money back home. But then even that money that you're sending back home serves as your savings. And on the topic of debt, avoid it completely. No credit cards, no buy now pay later, no personal loans unless absolutely necessary. When you're starting from scratch, the worst thing you can do is to try to borrow your way to comfort. Debt kills progress before it even begins. So budgeting isn't about restriction, it's about control. It's the difference between drifting and driving. Now that you're saving a little and earning steadily, it's time to use that money wisely. And another note that I forgot to mention is that you must find a place or a company that pays regularly. You'd be shocked to know that a lot of companies in Dubai or UAE in general tend to delay payments quite a lot. So your payday might be delayed by a week, by 2 weeks, or even a few days, and those few days make a huge difference. Now, coming back to it, this is where most people in Dubai start making mistakes. They get their first raise and suddenly it's a new phone, new shoes, new watch, and endless takeout. But if I were starting over, I'd use that money quite differently. I'd reinvest it back into myself and a slow and steady type of investment. If I was serious about climbing the ladder, I'd pay for a short certification that improves my credibility, but most importantly, I'd start investing in the US stock market on a monthly basis, with money I'm willing to lose, of course. The goal is to make your money earn you more money. Every small investment you make compounds over time. That's how you go from just surviving to thriving. Here's the truth about Dubai. This city will test your discipline every single day. Everywhere you go, you'll see luxury cars, designer clothes, and people living what looks like the dream. But remember, a lot of that lifestyle is literally borrowed. It's on credit and it's temporary. If you want to rebuild properly, you need tunnel vision. Don't compare your start to someone else's middle chapter. And don't get distracted by the illusion of success. Focus on consistency, showing up every day, learning, saving, improving. That's what actually builds wealth, whether it's in Dubai or anywhere in the world. Dubai rewards people who delay gratification. If you can resist the pressure to flex early, you'll have a level of peace and financial control that most people never reach or dream of. And when you start to see progress, when you've gone from struggling to saving actual money, from surviving to planning, that's when you'll realize discipline is the most powerful currency in this city. Starting over with 5,000 dirhams isn't impossible. I know because I've done it in spirit. Back in 2016, when I was broke, living with my mom and trying to get my first business off the ground, I learned that success isn't about where you start, it's about how you handle the slow climb. Those years taught me patience, creativity, and the value of consistency. I didn't have money, but I had time, energy, and willingness to keep learning. And if I had to do it all again, I would, because that foundation made me who I am today. So if you're watching this and you're in that place, low on money, stressed, or feeling stuck, I want you to know that it's not the end. It's the beginning of your rebuild. It's a pressure point that's gonna build you. Starting small forces you to build correctly. It teaches you things comfort never will. You can rebuild your life in Dubai, but it starts with humility, structure, and a plan. And before you go, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I share honest, practical insights about living and growing financially in Dubai. No hype, no fluff, just what actually works in real life. Starting over in Dubai with 5,000 dirhams might sound like rock bottom, but if you're strategic, patient, and focused, it's actually the best reset you could ever have. Because once you've learned how to survive with that, you'll never fear starting from zero again. And if this video helped you, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need a reminder that you can always rebuild, no matter where you start. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.